And so the journey is complete. The road to platinum is finished. I have all of the trophies now in Gran Turismo 7 thanks to completing just over 50 events technically. Some of you mentioned last time around that because of quitting some of the races it would probably take more than 50. Of course that was correct. It wasn't too bad though, it took 55 in the end. And technically this video has been pretty much ready to go for the best part of a month. I completed it and got the platinum trophy on the 5th of February, so quite some time ago already. But the reason why I didn't do this earlier is of course because we had the update to talk about and then I was doing special projects, so a number of other things took priority. But last time around I'd done 40 events, so of course this time I went from 41 up to 55, and there were definitely some good standouts. One of the standouts was at Watkins Glen. I raced with a number of different Group 3 cars there, and I would say probably the most successful overall that I tried this time was actually the facelifted version of the Mercedes AMG GT3. I ended up going from last place all the way up to 3rd, so pretty cool to go from final to a podium finish, and got the fastest lap as well, so that was definitely a standout. I did some more racing at Lake Louise. I actually got another victory, so the majority of the victories that I've had, what relatively few there were, are more often than not on rally events. So it seems that maybe I'm a better rally driver than I am a circuit driver. I'm actually not too surprised by it because I've always really liked rally games, and even when I was a kid, I remember when I used to play Gran Turismo 2, 3 and 4 with my dad at the time, who used to be super into it as well. He always used to leave the rally events for me to finish because he didn't really like it, and I guess that was probably part of why maybe I'm better at that now. So that one was another victory, got the fastest lap at the same time, and then I raced at Lake Louise a couple of other times, got some podiums, and ended up finishing off the overall around 50 to 55 region with some kart racing, of all things. So kind of went from back to front. Started the road to platinum with stuff like racing, 300-mile-an-hour shear-ons on Special Stage Route X, and ended the whole thing racing little racing karts at Brands Hatch. So kind of like the reverse of how the journey would usually go. The kart racing was actually a lot more fun than I expected it to be, because the karts were always something which I hated to drive in Gran Turismo 6. I found them an absolute pain in the ass. Gran Turismo Sport not quite as bad, and then in GT7 they're pretty good. You kind of do have to approach the karts to some degree as you would a Formula car, which is push it harder than you think you need to in order to get the best grip out of them. There's a bit of a pivot point on that with a kart because obviously they've got a lot less downforce, but I think those who do race them will probably agree with that philosophy of pushing them harder to get the best out of them. I also did some racing at Deep Forest, which was interesting. That was more Group 4 kind of stuff. Quite a few bad drivers there bashing into each other again, and there was some back and forth between myself and others. But in terms of standouts from this final section of the road to platinum, I think the ones that I've mentioned really were the key ones here. So a pretty nice run in the AMG, some good rally events again in the Stratos, and I kind of like the irony of ending it all, at least for me, at 55 events, and I most likely won't be doing any more, with that kart racing. I didn't actually end up winning any of the, I think it was 4 kart events that I did. The first one I did, I got a 3rd place finish, again starting from pretty much last, I think it was. Then there was an annoying spin out on one of them, still got the fastest lap that time around. On one of them, and I'll probably include the footage here, there was a really stupid penalty that I ended up getting. I went off track, I wouldn't exactly call it cutting a corner either, and I ended up getting reset so badly that it just ruined that event for me, to be honest. And then the very last one, race number 55, when I got the platinum trophy, I ended up finishing 2nd. So not a bad finish to it all. Started my journey with a victory on Special Stage Route X and ended the journey with a 2nd place finish at Brands Hatch. So I want to thank those of you who have joined me for this relatively brief series in terms of episodes. Only 5 episodes spanning 55 events is pretty heavily condensed, but I don't want to drag every single race and event out to every nitty-gritty detail, and I've put a lot of my thoughts overall on sport mode and some of the things that I do enjoy and perhaps some of the things that I don't think work so well. That really is all I have to say about sport mode. I don't think there's any new revelation that I really want to bring to this, and incidentally my stats as we end the journey are 55 events, 3 victories and 17 top 5 finishes. So in terms of being far from the quickest of drivers, 17 out of 55, I'll take it, sure. And 3 victories, well, it's better than nothing. And unsurprisingly, what I ended up with in terms of the driver and sportsmanship ratings were definitely lower than what we started with. I ended up being a C and A ranked driver, respectively. So those are my ending specs, my ending stats, and it was an interesting journey. I can't say it's something which I necessarily had a huge amount of enjoyment from. There were some key standouts, but overall I did find it a bit of a slog, as I think you could probably tell, especially up around episodes 3 and 4, but it was interesting to see really in a hands-on way how it fully works in terms of GT7 Sport Mode. For those especially who maybe join me on the journey and have achieved their own Platinum trophy during this time as well, which I'm sure is not that many people because most have probably already done it or aren't bothered enough to do it at all, and very few in between like I was. But if you are one of those people, of course tell me about it down below, and of course I'll see you in future with more GT7 content. But for now, Gran Turismo 7 joins one of only 2 games that I've ever bothered to Platinum trophy on the PlayStation, this and Fallout 4, and that's fine by me. But that's it for this vid, I'll see you next time, and for now, thanks for watching.